You're such a prick tonight.
I'm the one who says things.
I might have hit the thing at the perfect time. That's going to be our new opening. Why are you such a prick tonight? No, I'm the one who says things. Oh. So how's it going?
Oh, great.
Oh, boy. Happy Wednesday.
Yeah. It's a good one.
So tonight, I think we should do an advice show.
Really?
I was trying to find an audio of somebody going, advice show.
Oh.
But I just
You
have
just
to
said it.
awkwardly, advice show.
Oh.
Every time.
Because we're the perfect people to give advice for anything.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Ever.
anybody that's listening that actually is going to listen farther, I feel like we should put a disclaimer. Do not follow our advice. We're not professional advice givers. I can't even say a lot of big words right. So.
Yeah. I agree
All right.
with everything you just said.
All right. Let's start off with the advice show.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
What advice would you give to the people in Texas right now?
Trust in your president that he will swoop in,
Uh-huh.
fix everything,
Mm-hmm.
repair your damages,
He's a hell of a fella.
make reparations for everything you've
Right. Make
been
sure
through,
make sure there's equity.
and everything will be okay.
All right. There you have it, folks. Quit being little bitches. You heard Pam. Trust your president. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It is kind of hilarious. And I know what you're going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just bust each other's balls a little bit without everybody getting offended?
No, because it really would suck.
Really?
Yes.
Like, we've never went without power. Like,
No.
we've never went without water.
We've
Like,
never
it's
been
never-
without power for days and days and days.
Yes, we did.
We
One
when?
time. There was a while ago, there wasn't power for like 2 or 3 days. So here's my thing. Even if there wasn't power for the next 3 days, like right now the power goes out. We don't have power again till Sunday, we'll say.
It's Wednesday.
Right. I'm given more time. That would definitely suck. But I'm also not worried about it.
Only because you and I have power or heat that does not rely on power.
Right? Is that by
Well-
design or just we get lucked into it? And this, you know what I mean? Like, there's none of the things that are happening to those people right now
Is their fault.
is their fault, but I'd also not be worried about it if I was down there.
What?
Just,
You'd be worried about it if you had a baby, if you had very small children and you could not keep them warm.
and I was,
Come on.
and I was I don't know what to say. It's driving me a little bit nuts. It's a few days of cold. Now I realize.
Oh my God.
No, wait a minute. I realize that there's people that are struggling in the whole 9 yards. Like, I understand that they're not used to and equipped to dealing with shit like that. But what I'm saying is, what has happened to us as people that you can't face a few days of adversity and without needing the government to come save you, or
Well, I don't
it's
think
the worst thing in the world.
I don't think anybody's actually asking the government to come save them.
I've seen people nonstop bitching about the Texas power grid companies and like, way to go, can't you fix this faster, blah blah blah. Like,
Well,
it annoys me on some level that we've turned into a society of people that can't fend for themselves or understand how anything works.
Okay, but I also saw some type of news story that within 9 years in our area where we are, we would be forced to. Could you be any louder?
Well, could you make it harder to get the beer out of the refrigerator?
You open a door and put your hand in. How fucking hard is that?
There's a whole bunch of chicken and biscuit in the way. But anyways, go ahead. 9 years, what? The Advice Show.
In 9 years, we would be forced to go to electric, solar, or wind
By who?
heat. I don't know. They were saying you would no
They
longer.
can suck my dick.
All right.
I'm not doing that.
Okay.
And the more people are like, I guess just in 9 years we're gonna have to, and there's
Okay,
nothing.
but-
Fuck that shit. It doesn't make any sense. And until enough people, I don't know what it takes. A bunch of people have to die, or whatever, for us to go. Hey, we got all this natural gas that comes out of the ground. Like we have a lot of it, and guess what? It burns super clean. Also, guess what? We have a fucking lot of it. Enough of the solar shit until you guys really figure it out.
So, as I was saying,
The Advice Show.
that they would no longer make appliances such as heaters and those type things that would run on natural gas.
Sounds like a perfect market to get into.
What?
I think I'm going to start making heaters that run on natural gas.
Okay. Cool. Problem solved.
I'm just saying.
John's going to be the entrepreneur to make it happen.
Are you leaving? Where are you going? Pam's getting up. She's just walking away. Oh, she has to turn the windmill. It wasn't generating enough power. She's back.
No.
The Advice Show.
Oh my God. Okay. Next bullet point.
All I'm saying is, I definitely sucks, and I realize they're not prepared for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely not prepared for
They
it.
don't have salt trucks. They don't have any of that kind of bullshit.
But give me a scenario. This is what I'm trying to say. Give me a scenario that would be that troubling for us.
But it's not comparable.
So they're the only ones in the world, in the country, that a snowstorm will just ruin their life and there's nothing they can do about it.
No, I'm
Like,
saying
what
they're
I'm-
way less prepared than we are.
Right. But what I'm saying is, it comes down to a couple basic things. Can you be somewhat self-sufficient for a few days? And it seems really weird to me that an area that gets wrecked by hurricanes on the regs doesn't have a store of food, isn't prepared to somehow deal without power for a week, whether it's a generator or you have some sort of backup plan for powering your house.
Apparently not. I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, it would just, I get that, everybody can't probably afford to go out and buy a dope generator that runs off natural gas, but also I would have some sort of plan besides, I'm going to have to freeze. Like, I personally think about stuff like that all the time. Not all the time, but I do think, like, when we get a big snowstorm, because it seems like a regular thing. They're like, oh my God, we're going to get a big snowstorm. And we get like a covering on the windshield lately. Seems like every storm's the bad one. But I think, like, what if the electricity went off for whatever reason? We get one of these ice storms that takes out all the...
Okay, so you have a generator.
I have
I'll get that.
Generator. I can figure out how to keep the food cold. We could...
How? With the generator?
Well, it's winter.
Well, no shit.
You just put the food
But
outside.
what about the freezing pipes and all that kind of stuff?
Just let it run.
Well, if you don't and your pipes freeze.
Then you don't have water.
Oh, God.
Why
Okay.
didn't you... Again, what do they do during a hurricane when they lose all their power and they don't have water? Why wouldn't you have enough water for a few days? Also, there's a whole bunch of snow outside that if you have natural gas or a fire, you can
Okay.
boil.
All I'm saying is I don't feel you should bash them. I just
I'm
don't.
just busting balls on my friends. They're like,
Well-
oh my God.
It's not nice.
All right. So my advice is the advice show. Natural gas.
Okay.
You guys need to, you have a whole bunch of natural gas down there. Quit being mamsy-pamsy. Solar. I mean, solar is kind of cool. It does seem like eventually that's probably going to be the way to go.
We don't get anywhere
But
near
we're
enough
just,
sun around
well,
here.
I'm just saying, we're not to the point where technology has got us there yet. Like, it kind of works, but not so much.
Today's the first day we saw the sun in 2 weeks.
Like, we're basically in the 8-track tape days of solar power. Like, we aren't even close to an iPod. We need to get to an iPod. We're somewhere around 8-track tape. It works, kind of, but it's pretty clumsy. And it doesn't work well. Like, if it gets really cold, it doesn't work good. All right. I don't feel like you want to talk about energy.
It's boring.
I'm going to, give me 1 second.
He's looking up stuff on his phone.
No, I should have had this up.
Really?
I think, well, this guy might have deleted it. What the fuck?
Is it that inappropriate?
No. Huh. Well, son of a bitch.
Well, do you have the gist of?
Well, I wanted to read it because this is an advice show. I know how to find it. I'm sorry. Talk amongst yourselves while I find this. I was going to have it up, and then I
Didn't
didn't.
talk amongst just myself.
Yeah, entertain the people. Give them some advice. The advice show. It wouldn't surprise me this guy pulled his post down.
From where?
I don't really want to say because I don't want to blow him in. Because this is anonymous advice that we give. Some people will know who I'm talking about. Well, I don't even know this person.
Are we still on the climate shit?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I'm beyond it.
Got it. Here we go. In one of the groups, Facebook groups I'm in, a fellow posted this last week. Please pray for me, brothers. In March, Lord willing, I'm doing something I've never done. I'm flying to Nigeria to meet and marry my lady love.
No.
I'm just like,
First of all, is that all you're saying?
that was his original post, and it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. The advice show.
So basically, my one and only question: has he never watched Dr. Phil?
Well, I don't want to. All right. So, people have prodded him just a little farther to get more information out of him.
Well, of course.
Excuse me. And this is his next post. And I don't want to, I'll finish my thought afterwards here. He says, I've been putting considerable effort into the last 5 years to not repeating my past mistakes, most especially in seeking and selecting who to spend the rest of my days with. I came across a series of articles a few years ago that intrigued me. Articles about divorce statistics among various demographics. Come to find out, one particular combination was 30% more likely to stay together than any other demographic combination. It's so hard to read these posts. It's like you don't know where to stop talking. A white
with a
man.
period.
A white man.
Go ahead.
Okay. A white man and a black woman. Even higher if she is African.
What?
I joined an online group and started talking to people, refreshed by the lack of disdain in caps these women showed men. Unlike our American women, these actually valued and honored men just for being men, and white men for being more apt to be kind, considerate, and compassionate. A year later, I met my lady. She doesn't suffer from the rampant political idolatry. See, I told you.
Ideology.
No.
He's probably trying to say.
Idolatry? Doesn't suffer from something that I find so pervasive here. She shares my goals and my values. She has an honorary doctorate in encouragement.
So the goals that she shares with him is in spending his money
Well,
and
next
exploiting. Okay, go ahead.
next thing he wrote is, and this is it. We have vetted each other from faith to finances. Her family grilled me with questions to ascertain my intentions, so I've been more thorough to vet her and she me than any other relationship we ever had. What advice would you give this fella? Now he claims that I'm not going to tell you the Facebook group that he met this person in, but it basically is a private group, very small group that says we are a very selective group looking to meet a very selective group of, I can't remember if it said black women or what it did say.
Rich
African
fucking white men.
meeting sophisticated white men.
Mm-hmm. So you know about this group because you tried to get in and they said no.
No, I was going to for the goof, but then I'm like, no, next thing I know, I'll be marrying some Nigerian chick.
So as far as advice, it's
The advice show.
It's a moot point
Do you think
right now. No, listen, because I would almost guarantee he's not even talking to a woman.
Oh, in somewhere else he wrote that they message daily and video chat once a week for 2 years.
Well, you would be kind of a cute chick with a wig on. Just saying.
So you think this guy's getting scammed?
100%.
There's no possibility that he's not.
Nope.
It's kind of what everybody said. And then everybody's like, how dare you be so mean? And you're like,
you know what?
dude.
If he's not, more power to him. But he is.
Well, I asked
Just saying.
I asked a few follow-up questions just to see, just being kind of trying to be polite and nice.
You?
Yeah.
Oh.
And basically, everything he said sounds exactly like every story you've heard.
Mm-hmm.
And we've even, I won't say, I've had a couple of people relatively close to me who got sucked into the same shit, and it usually ends up with them losing a whole bunch of money.
Footing the bill for whatever. Okay, so that was how long ago that he said he was going to meet her?
It was last week.
So have you heard any updates?
No, he got all pissed off at everybody being like, dude,
Right.
be careful.
So here's
This
what's
sounds
going to
crazy.
happen. So he was flying there?
Mhm.
Is that what? Okay. Once he gets there, which that's not usually how things play out in this scenario. It's usually she is trying to come here to see him. However, they get detained at the border, or something happens that at the very last minute, right before they're going to board the plane, something goes horribly wrong.
The other person.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Something goes horribly wrong, and the person in the States needs to send money ASAP
Mm-hmm.
to get them through the process to be able to do it, and then it just keeps getting strung along and strung along and strung along, and oh, okay, I made it to wherever, but I'm being detained here because of my passport and all this stupid shit. So is for him going there, I feel like it's going to be he gets there and then tries to go where she says she is and runs into trouble somewhere, somehow, of some type that will cost him money.
No doubt. No doubt.
There's just...
Well, is it...
If it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Is it
I hate to sound
somebody we
cynical.
know or just something I saw on TV? I'm having trouble figuring out who their dad was involved in one of these types of situations. And if I'm talking of a person we know, don't say their name, obviously, but their dad, their mother had passed away, and their dad had started talking to somebody online who was from London, and they ended up sending a whole bunch of money over, and then they were finally going to go over to meet, and their dad flies all the way to London, and something happened. Like when they got there, they were supposed to meet at a cafe. He goes there, nobody is there, and
Yeah.
basically he dumbs around for a couple days, ends up flying back home. A few days later, she messages him or calls him or whatever, and is like,
I
"Oh my
was
God, I'm so
detained."
sorry. My mother had a heart attack or whatever."
Yeah.
And then he went back again,
What
and the kids are like, "Dad,
are you doing?
don't quit sending this woman." He'd sent her like $40,000 over the course of 6 months,
Yeah.
and that's nobody asked that guy, but I feel as though he was probably sending her money. There's just no doubt. You just know
I'm
how
sure.
all this works.
Of course.
And then the other thing was I was thinking about, in the back of my mind, I was like, so what if this is legit and on the up and up?
Doubtful.
Have you ever been around a couple that this works?
I know of one couple, who met online, not, Nigerian,
Write it down.
all
so I
this
know who
other
you're talking about.
bullshit. I only know of one couple. One.
No, I'm not talking about people that meet online,
That's what I'm talking about.
like Match.com type stuff.
Yes.
Like where you're like,
Yes.
not like that. I'm talking about people that 'cause-
Nigeria and
well,
all that shit.
seems like it. The Match.com thing honestly makes some amount of sense.
More now than it used to.
Well, and it's also
But-
like I like this, and this, and you like this, and this, and
Mm-hmm.
at least you start out on some really common ground
Right.
as opposed to whatever.
If your profile isn't bullshit.
True.
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about are the people that end up. I don't know what it's called now, and it's probably not the right word, but the mail order bride type
Right.
situations.
Yeah.
Those things, we know a few couples like
Yeah.
that, and it is weird as fuck. And if you know any
Well,
couples
this
like
is
that,
the same thing, just not mail order. It's upgraded to internet order.
well, it's just this is what I was saying. Like even if he's not getting completely took,
Taken.
whatever. He said the end goal was her to move to the States and them to start a family.
Hey, and here's the deal. If it happens, more power to you, buddy. So happy. But
Okay. But if you click on this guy's profile and look at him, and if he's,
I don't want to.
wait, and if he's listening to this, I'm sorry, but here's the hard truth. You are exactly the type of guy you go, oh yeah, obviously that guy. So I feel really bad for dudes like that, like he is mad. Like when you read that first thing, he is mad at all American women
I know.
because
They
for whatever
mistreated
reason.
him.
Yes. And that's sad that you
I know.
got to a point. But now you, like, I can think of another example, relatively local person who got this mail order bride situation. And it is the weirdest thing in the world. And when you're around them, you're like, oh, she hates him. Like, she just came over to get here. And then there's another one that you and I know. Hang on one second. That
Okay.
You know who I'm talking about? I can't
Yeah.
remember his name. As soon as you get some drinks in everybody, it starts getting weird.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Okay, yeah.
like they keep their cover together pretty good. And
But-
what's weird about these relationships is if there are people that you find out that they were like I met somebody like this and they came over here and they're Filipino or Chinese or Indian or Russian or whatever, and they came over here. If they have a good relationship, they never bring that up. It's like, how'd you guys meet or whatever? And you're like, oh, I went to blah blah blah, and we hit it off and we stayed friends. And then if it's most of these, they're like, she's like a mail order bride. They just come right out and say it, and it's just all weird and
'Cause
it's
then-
almost like the guy's showing off a car he bought, a Ferrari he had flown in from Italy. And then it gets fucking
That
weird.
hates him.
The Advice Show.
All right, so what's your next one?
Pam, we have to keep talking about it.
No, we don't.
No, because
I feel
then
bad
it takes,
for the people.
I do too. So what's your advice?
Don't do it.
But what if they can't get any checks anywhere?
They can. There is somebody for everybody.
That's not great advice.
Well, don't give up all your money for a stranger you haven't met. It's just weird. It's not how life works.
So
Or
what
not
you're
how it should.
what if the people feel like
Then maybe they're meant to be single. Not meant to be taken. In a bad way. It's just sad.
all right. So here's another. It's not the one we can spend a lot of time on, but it just popped up. If I shit my pants, do I say, oh crap, I shit my pants? Or shit, I crap my pants?
Neither of which I would say, holy fuck, I just shit my pants.
Oh,
That's
here's
what I would
a good question. Well, this is not advice.
Yeah. What?
See, I should have had more of these.
Nor would I ever tell anyone that I did.
You've told me that you've shit your pants before.
That's because we're married and you have
Like
to deal with all
everyone's
my
funny.
stupid
Like
shit.
I shit my pants today.
Stop it. It was one time. I was sick.
Okay. The Advice Show. I want to be a stripper, but my partner doesn't want me to be a stripper. Their input means the world to me, but this is something that's hard to let go of. I don't even know if I'd like being a stripper, but I just want to try. I hate working at these jobs that make me work hours with barely any pay. I feel like I'm never going to get anywhere without slaving away. It makes me really depressed and tired. The whole thing my partner doesn't like is just the fact that men will see me in person and can shout things and get aroused. Is there any way I could say to try and convince them or do anything to ease their mind? I'm thinking about our future. They need surgery and medication. We want to live in a bus. What?
What?
I think we
All right, stop right there.
We
'cause
want
that-
to live in a bus. It's almost done. We want to live in a bus within the next couple of years. They don't get
Okay.
their bachelor's until 2021. Who?
All right,
I'm
so
fucking confused.
millennial.
Wait, it's signed.
Oh,
Christy.
okay. So, my first round of advice. You hate your job because you have to slave away at things. But you'd like to go into a profession where you have to slave away for dollars to be stuffed into your freaking G-string. Secondly, you're already in a relationship and that person doesn't want you to do it.
Yeah, that seems like a deal
The
breaker.
number one rule in relationships Big decisions have to be made by both parties, unanimous or not. Do we want one more kid? If one of them says no and one of them says yes, the no gets it. Because there's going to be a resentment. That relationship is never going to last. If she decides, I'm just going to try it to see what it's like, he's going to resent it, he's going to hate it, and it's going to be over. Same if, I want one more kid. My husband doesn't want to, but I'm just going to do it anyway. Just because I want to.
Yeah, but that's a little different thing where you can just kind of accidentally get pregnant. You can't accidentally be a stripper.
Right. There's a gray area there. Okay.
You can't be like,
Yes.
oh my God, I don't know what happened. I was
Right.
walking down the street.
Or I want to move to somewhere, but my partner does not. You can't just do it
Well, you'd have
and
to split
expect
up
the
to do
person
it.
to not be resentful.
Well, you just have to
and
be like, if you want to do this, then go
It's
do
just
it.
if you want to be a stripper, go be a whore. Let your man do what
Hey.
he wants, because...
They're not all whores.
All right.
Some are just nice girls working through college, single moms.
She already has a job
Wow.
and is almost done with her college, so fuck that
yeah,
shit.
I was going to say, it sounds like she's very young and
She
looking
just wants
for...
to be a whore
No,
and wants
she's...
a bunch of extra money,
No,
which is not usually the case.
Well, what I was going to say was, when you look at all the OnlyFans people that are making like retarded amounts of money,
I've never been on OnlyFans, but anyway.
well, we can still talk about it. There's people that are pulling down 10, 20 grand a month just by random people going and looking
Well,
at them. I don't know.
If that's what she wants, she shouldn't be in a relationship.
But that's what I was saying. Like, you're looking for that easy way out
Mhm.
instead of... And what are you going to get a bachelor's degree for? You can't
Mhm.
you can't just go find a job in that field.
Right.
So, and then she's probably going to say, what if she's going to school for marketing? And she's using what she learned in her stripping career. The advice show. Next question. This isn't anything about advice, but it's just one that I happened across here, and it kind of made me giggle, and I'd like your input. If Jesus was killed by hanging instead of crucifixion, would Christians be hanging up nooses in their homes and around wear necklaces of nooses instead?
Yeah.
That's pretty fucked up.
Religion's fucked up. Silence.
If you these almost be young people.
Oh boy. John's
Oh, this person's
cracking up. He can't help himself.
Oh. If you transition from female to male, are you required to sign up for the draft?
There is no draft. What? Is that real? When was that from?
1969.
Oh, well.
Well, recently. It's not that old. It's a message board. I don't know if you're still required to go sign up. Holy fuck. Does my dog have OCD?
Probably. Doesn't every dog, they sniff every pee spot 150,000 times before they can pee on it?
The advice show. Would you look at a person weird if they have been a virgin their whole life?
No.
Okay.
They have better values than I do. Why am I the only one answering?
You're the professional.
Oh.
There's
Would you
what?
look at a virgin weird?
Depends. At some point, you probably want to have sex. I wouldn't look at him weird. I think it'd be
No.
like sad you're missing out on good stuff.
Maybe they're waiting until they're married so that they can have amazing stuff.
So we circle back to that new Nigerian fella.
Oh, God. If it's a virgin, it's going to cost him a lot more.
I'm trying to find.
All right, you got 2 questions left.
Come on, don't do this to me.
Yep. 2 questions. And then at the end of this, we'll pose whether people want more advice shows or more current event shows.
All right. Do Domino's pizza workers really get the words of encouragement that I give them via the online tracker screen? Or am I just wasting my time sending them?
Wait, I don't understand.
You can send little messages to your Domino's pizza delivery
Being
place.
like, come on, bro, you can do it? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Why would you?
All right. The advice show.
Honey,
Don't.
we're so hungry. We're so hungry. Are you almost here? Like, what? I don't understand.
Well, you must be able to send like almost like thanks for delivering, bro, so fast. Thanks for the service.
Oh, you mean afterward?
I'm not really sure. It didn't really.
Because I feel like more often than not, what they would hear is, "Where's my fucking extra cheese?" You know what I mean? Like, you forgot my dipping sauce.
So you feel like they got a lot of hate.
Yeah.
Were the 90s as good as everyone says they were?
Not really.
That seems like a weird.
Yeah. Who's everyone and...
I don't know. If you cut off all your fingertips and stitch them to the corresponding finger on the other hand, would they heal together and eventually be forever connected?
Well, that's just a dumb question.
But would it?
Fingertips meaning just the skin?
Yeah, like the ends of your fingers, and then you stuck them together.
Well, skin grafts work very well. We know this.
So you're thinking they would go together?
Yes.
But then they'd be stuck? Like it'd be like you have...
What do you mean stuck? They're grafted together. They're sewn together.
But you don't think it would, like if you sneezed really hard or something, they wouldn't just come apart?
What?
You know, like if you had it wouldn't be like a super, like there's no bone holding it together.
There's...
Like if you had a scab on the end of your nose and you sneezed really hard, there's a possibility that you could blow it off.
That's of your nose, not your fucking fingertips. I'm so confused. Like, are we talking after they heal and everything?
Yeah.
Would they be, like, there forever? Well, yes. Unless your body, for some reason, would reject them.
It's a very interesting question.
I'm so confused. Why would it not work? People, they skin graft stuff all the time.
Would it be weird to contact...
Moving on.
Wait. This made me think of a real life one after this. Would it be weird to contact my middle school teachers and classmates 8+ years ago to apologize for my behavior / bullying?
Depends on how bad it was, I guess. Because, all right, I kind of have an answer for that.
The advice show.
So if it was really bad, because, okay, let's review. Our kid's in 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm.
And in some previous years, there's been some really bad kids that have impacted our kid. And she will never forget. So it depends on how bad this guy's behavior is. Because he said only 8 years ago.
Yeah, he's in...
So he could be 15,
No,
and it was when...
he's out of school.
Still?
He's like almost 30.
Oh, all right. So that's like, why now, bro? But I could see where it might do some good if there were an especially tender child that was really, really affected by that. If that person came back and was like, I'm so sorry. This is why I did this. It had nothing to do with you, or just whatever, just any kind of a validation or explanation of anything that might be able to help somebody put it down and move on.
So do you think rape victims would be happy if their rapist came back 8 years later? Like, hey, sorry I raped you. Let me put you in my headspace of where I was back then.
Only if it's genuine.
See, that's what I'm.
Yes.
See,
And only if it's
but
genuine.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's
if
gonna
there's
be
real remorse, real
But what I'm saying is, it usually seems like things like that are not a true remorse thing. It's just like, I feel bad
it's
about.
self-serving.
Yeah, I feel bad because I did this thing, and now here's a way to
don't
clear
you
my.
think you can tell if somebody?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I would feel like most of the time, it's a self-serving thing.
I don't know about that.
And also,
Haven't you done some shitty stuff in your life before that you've been like, damn, I just wish I could be like, I'm sorry.
yeah,
So
yeah, there is that, but also then you have to have a weird, hey, sorry, I was, like, it's not like.
having that weird moment is better than somebody carrying something
Yeah,
for
but
the rest of their lives that
seems like
affects everything.
it seems like the fakest thing in the world, because most often the other people are still in the less dominant position at that point, going, oh, it's okay, man, I understand.
No,
Instead of being like, fuck you, how about I kick your fucking ass right now?
No, if I was in the position of being the offender, and I was proposing the apology, I wouldn't expect someone to bow down and be like, it's okay, thank you so much. I would also expect them to fully kick my ass if I was acknowledging that, yeah, this wasn't your fault and I was a complete asshole.
Okay. So this transitions into the next thing.
This is your last one.
It is. It's the last one.
Okay.
So this was a post I saw on social media, and I'm going to paraphrase so I don't.
So as to protect the innocent?
Yes. Because it's not my story to tell, but it's a situation we can talk about. Basically.
Are you blindsiding me with something that's going to piss me off?
No, I'll tell you who it is afterwards.
Oh, okay.
The person posted, and they took it down because I was looking for it before this. They posted, and this person is a good 20 years removed from high school.
Okay.
And basically posted, it really upsets me to see everybody talking about what a great guy this guy is. He's done very well professionally. When we were in high school, he was a complete piece of shit. One day, because and they're obviously boyfriend and girlfriend, one day when they were teenagers, she was talking to another guy, and he basically headbutted her, broke her nose.
Oh.
She claims a teacher saw it, and nobody did anything or said anything, and she covered for him and said she tripped and fell into a locker, and nobody did or said anything because everybody was scared of this guy. And he was a intimidating,
a formidable.
Yeah, he was an intimidating fella.
Okay.
And she's basically like, it pains me to see everybody saying what a great guy this guy is.
Really?
Yeah.
And like actually called the guy out, like
By name.
In the post, like
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Why is everybody saying blank is so awesome? Because he busted my nose. Because.
And then and I remember this from us being, well, I'm obviously saying it to somebody I know, but I remember I didn't know anything about that.
Mm-hmm. Most people probably don't.
Because they were in different grades. But I remember she had like one of those nose things on.
Oh,
because
shit.
For sports and gym and stuff like that.
Dick. Uh-huh.
So, the advice show.
You're a dick. Don't be a dick.
Like what? Again, it goes back to that bullying thing. Is there any way to fix that? Because obviously, there's no doubt that has affected that person.
Oh yeah. What? How would it not?
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, what's weird is, I don't think that I knew that story when we were kids. I don't remember it. And basically, in her post, she was like, fuck all you people for thinking he's a great guy when you all knew he was a piece of shit. And I kind of understand the sentiment. And she's like, why didn't any of you guys stand up and say something about it? Why didn't the teacher say something? And I was like, oh. And I was trying to like remember, like, I don't think I knew anything about it. And I kind of felt bad. And I don't know what the fuck I would have done anyways, but.
Well, and so that doesn't, like a public forum like that doesn't really seem like, so she's going to go through all that and put herself out there and say this of what she feels she needs to say, but regardless of what the guy would say, of what anybody else would say, what's it actually going to do for her?
Do you suppose it's just some way of her getting it out there and just being like,
this is what
release?
happened to me.
Yeah, instead of like.
Which I kind of feel like that would almost be more, that would be better served in like a therapy setting rather than a public social media setting.
If we were living in normal times, I feel like the COVID isolation of everybody is getting people a little. You're not seeing your therapist one-on-one like you were probably.
Oh yeah, they do it
You know
all
what I mean?
online.
I know, but online's a little different than
Probably.
if even.
It could
we're
be.
talking about financially too. Like,
So what were the responses?
I didn't read any of them
Oh, well, dude.
because I read the first one and it was just
I had no idea,
it
blah,
was
blah,
just
blah.
the usual dipshit stuff that nobody knows how to
You
say.
don't deserve that,
Yeah, all the same stuff.
Um,
What the fuck do you say?
So, okay, so we're like saying, like, say this was you. You're the guy that punched somebody in the face. And this girl, or headbutted, whatever the story was there. Let's say the girl is posting this about you. Like, what?
What would I do?
Well, that's probably a bad question. I shouldn't
Well,
ask
the
you
problem
that.
was she said that she was
Did she, like, tag him? Or she just,
I don't think they're friends anymore.
well,
She wrote his
That's-
full name out.
okay.
Like
It just seems...
but what I also it sounded like a very somewhat abusive relationship where she said she wasn't allowed to wear makeup, she wasn't allowed to wear any nice clothes or something like that. Wasn't allowed to talk to any other dudes. And so
So what?
So I guess what I'm saying is, do you think that guy really would at some point later in life change?
Apologize. No,
He's still a piece of shit.
probably.
And that's what I was saying. Like, are you doing yourself any favors
No.
by
Nope.
calling out that piece of shit?
Maybe in a way, just to be like,
This is what I was saying. You're like, what good is it going to do to publicly
just a momentary
To shame
vindication
that guy.
to be like,
to tell everybody?
There you go.
Because the problem is, she's probably not the only one.
right?
So there's probably other people, if they do see that, are like, yep. Still a piece of shit. Did the same shit
Yep.
to me. So.
Maybe that's what she was looking for, is
Right.
for somebody,
Well-
anybody else to be like, yep.
Well, and also that's what I was trying to say. Like, if you say to your therapist this story, your therapist is gonna,
Be like, well, maybe.
well, or it's there's no justice
No.
in any of that. Like, you basically go to the therapist as a broken person, and they fix you, but they do not bring you justice for the situation.
No. And you know what? Neither does if let's, for lack of a better word, the perpetrator, even if they do change and they're just a better person and they're wonderful now, that doesn't help you for what you went through back then with them.
Right.
Because you were the one stuck in the asshole phase of that person. But I feel like most often the assholes don't change.
I don't believe so.
Yeah. So, advice show?
The advice show.
Don't date an asshole.
Yeah, but how would you know?
You'll
You're
know.
Stupid. No. So wait.
No. Looking back, in hindsight 2020, you'll know. But you won't know at the time.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Like, how would you know in that moment
I know.
until you get fucking headbutted for talking to another dude?
So once you've lived through that and move on to the rest of your life, you need to know that's what not to do. Who not to date is that person. At the time, you could normalize it and blah, blah, blah.
Well, I also feel like there was a dynamic there because this person was somewhat of a athlete, school star sort of person. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it was a bit of a...
Makes it even worse.
Yeah, it makes it a bit of a... you don't want to speak out against that person because...
100%. Because they're beloved.
Right. And of course not. They didn't actually do that.
Right.
And
And
so,
if they did, you must have done something.
or it was an accident or whatever.
Right. So maybe, hey.
So if you could go back and give that, I'm guessing, 15, 16-year-old person
Uh-huh.
some advice. The advice show. The Time Machine Advice Show.
I would say, does this feel right? When you look around at everyone else and relationships and your parents or friends, parents, or does this feel right? Does it seem like how things should be? Say, fast forward to when you're married. Is this how you would want to live your life? Because if not, bail.
Yes. But one thing that, I don't know how to say this exactly. And this was kind of going back to what I was saying about the dude asking if he should call up his old person that he bullied or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Is those things and other things sent that person probably in a trajectory that I don't want to say ruined their life, but had severe
Didn't help.
consequences for whatever, whether it's, just confidence or emotional wellness or anything, or trust, or all those things that you kind of need to be a whole person.
Yeah.
Those type of things, and I don't know that coming back and revisiting the past with that person is ever going to make up for it.
No.
You've already damaged the person. So
Yes.
when it goes back to the question, should the bully go back and apologize, I don't think there's anything you could do with words. Like,
Right. No, yeah. I totally understand what you're saying.
you know what I mean?
But at least you have that.
Like, but what I'm saying is, if it'd be different if the bully guy went on TV and was like, look, let me tell you a story. I used to be a complete fucking piece of shit. And I realize that I've changed, blah, 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 blah. And publicly humiliated themselves. But they would also get accolades and praises for being the great person that said it. As opposed to going to you personally, whether it's in person or a note or an email or a text, and doing some secretive...
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it just seems like fuck that person till the end of the day. Or the end of their life. That guy's a piece of shit. You're in my fucking
But also,
go fuck yourself and die column.
of course. But there's also a little part, especially of women in a domestic situation like you're discussing here. There's a little part of women that will always blame themselves for the rest of their lives. So if that person actually comes and says, no, I was a complete piece of shit and it was all me, that can make them let go of something that says they're inherently bad or wrong or whatever. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. So what's your advice here? The advice show.
Like I said, if it doesn't feel right.
No. I mean to this person now, who's obviously still bothered by this to the point where it comes up on a random weekday where you're like, got some shit I want to get off my fucking chest.
Well, I guess it depends on, because if she went to social media to post it, she's going to go to social media to see what the responses are. I feel like it depends on the responses.
Well, like I said, I read through the responses, but it was a lot of exactly what you'd expect people to say. Like, oh my God, you didn't deserve this. I didn't know this was going on. Like, what else do you say? Like, nobody has any magic words in these situations.
Maybe she was looking for a Me Too moment.
Where other people would come out and be like, yep, this guy's a piece of shit too.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep. And so if she didn't receive that Me Too moment or the validation or the apology or any of that, then...
Doesn't it feel good just to get shit off your chest every once in a while?
Yeah.
So maybe that's just part of it. Like, I've been keeping all this inside, and especially when you're... I'll explain afterwards a little more of the story, but when you're seeing the person in a very public way, and you're like, well, fuck that guy. He ruined my fucking life, and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think it's just more than anything, it's kind of a validation kind of thing.
And what's weird is, it's not like it's a relationship that just didn't go good. It's another level of...
horribly wrong.
Yeah. It's not like, oh, I caught him cheating on me and it
right,
really upset me and we broke up.
Yeah.
It's, I was physically incapable of preventing him from hurting me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a different thing.
Well, maybe just, if nothing else, she's like, fuck it. I'm going to put it out there and it'll make me feel better.
Right.
So, no, I wouldn't judge it.
I wasn't asking for advice about judging it or not.
No, I just mean, you know what I mean? I'd be like, fingers crossed that she gets whatever it is that she needs out of it.
Right. Well, I mean, it just sucks. Like, I always think about things. So I look back when I was a kid and people that picked on me or terrible things that happened, and I didn't have anything really. I mean, there's nothing in my childhood where I'm like carrying some terrible thing with. All in all, I had a good childhood.
Mm-hmm.
But also, there are things that I obviously wasn't happy about or am embarrassed about or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I
think
can't...
everybody does.
Well, I can't imagine what it must be like to be carrying that with you for 20 or 30 or longer years.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just... You know what I mean? Like, it's part of you now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't... I feel really bad for people that are struggling with something like that.
Well, and
Instead of
why...
going like, I'm a different person now.
I'm beyond that.
I'm adult.
Yeah.
You know, I was a
Yeah,
kid. I didn't know
sure.
any better. You know, I was in
That'd
a
be
situation
awesome
that was
to be
beyond
able
my
to-
control.
Yeah.
And it's not my fault, and it's not me now.
Yeah. Which is why I will be probably embarrassingly questioning my kid to death once she starts dating.
Our kid's not going to date.
Newsflash, she already has a Valentine.
That's pretty hilarious.
I know. Cutest thing ever. But true story. I'll be like watching like a hawk.
All right. Well, I think we've given a lot of good advice tonight.
I think so. So the question is, which John and Pam podcast do you like best? Political ones? Just usual run-of-the-mill week ones? Advice ones?
The Advice Show.
Or just keep mixing it up?
I kind of like a nice mix. It
I
was
get
kinda nice.
exhausted on political
I was going to
shit.
say, it was
I
kind of
just
nice
can't
tonight. We
fucking
didn't
do
talk
it.
about really politics at all. Or just silly stuff.
Mhm.
And, well, I'm going to cut my fingertips off and just hold them together for a few weeks, see if they grow
I'm
together.
telling you, it'll be fine.
All
It'll
right.
totally be fine. Everything will be fine.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of loud.
Yeah.
All right, folks.
Have a wonderful evening.
And have a better tomorrow.
Spring's coming.
The Advice Show.